All right, today we are going to set up our word problems and then also solve them. So look at example one, please. Page 27. We'll read it together and then write down bits of it. The way they're wanting it to do, they want you to do a 5-step plan. Go through. I don't want you to do that. I want you to do it like we've been today, and then solve if you can solve. So it says solve, or excuse me, Philip has 23 more dollars than Kevin. So let's write down. We're talking about Philip and we're talking about Kevin. Together they have $187. How much money does each have? So, Philip has 23 more than Kevin. How much does Kevin have?
Yes,
We don't know if it's K, X, M, it doesn't matter. Philip has 23 more than that. So how could we write that?
K plus 23.
K plus 23. Okay. We now know that together or total they have 187. So what could we do with Philip and Kevin to get the total? We could add them. So we have K plus 23 and we have K. We could have written it this way instead. And it equals the total. These are exactly the same thing. It'll get you the same result. Now let's just take this bottom one, put it right there. What is K plus K? How many K's do we have? 2K. Now this takes us back. Should have done this previously. We've got a 2-step equation. Here's our variable. We want to get rid of our constant term by doing the opposite. So we're going to subtract on both parts. 187 minus 23 is 164. That goes away. We're left with 2K. So we're going to divide by 2K equals, what is it, 82. So is that how we finish the problem? Because let's go back on word problems. Make sure you go back and read the question. How much does each have? So this tells us how much Kevin has. 82. Now, how do we figure out what Kevin or what Philip has?
Just add 23.
Add 23 to this. 82, 23, 105. Now, once we've got these two numbers, how can we check to see if that is correct? Add them together and they should equal 187. So that's how we can check. So again, it's setting it up like we've been doing the last couple days. And then use the skills we know to solve. Okay, so let's do one more of that. Turn over to problem 2 on page 28. Number 2, page 28. Says the gym is 21 years newer than the auditorium. So we have gym and we have the auditorium. The gym is also 1/4 as old as the auditorium. So the auditorium, do we know how old it is? No, but we can say it's A. Now the gym, we know, is 1/4 as old as the auditorium. And then here's the one that sometimes is confusing. It says 21 years newer. So in terms of age, do we want to subtract 21 or add 21? Because if it's newer, is it more years or less years? It's less years, so we're going to subtract. All right. So we know these two things about the gym's age. So the gym's age is the same no matter what. So what do we know about these two parts? They're going to be equal to each other. All right. So we now have 1/4 of A, or A divided by 4 equals A minus 21. Here's the trick. We can do this 2 ways. We could make this, I could even write it one more way. At this point, this might be the simplest one to do. Okay, let's do that one. I don't have to show you any tricks yet on that. So we want to get our variables to both sides. So we have a variable on both sides. How many A's do we have right here? 1. So we're going to move it across. We're going to subtract 1 in. So it's like 1.00A. These two are opposite signs, so we need to subtract. What's 1 minus 0.25? 0.75 A, but this one is larger and negative, so it's negative. Now we need to divide by negative 0.75. I'm going to come over here. We're not going to use the calculator, so I'm going to treat it as a fraction. Okay, that's what that was. So it comes out to be 28. So the auditorium is 28. Okay. Now, let's check here. What is 1/4 of 28? 28 is 7. What's 28 minus 21? 7. So our auditorium is 7 years old, or excuse me, 28 years old, and the gym would be 7 years old. So the key today is setting up our bits of information to make one equation. So we're not going to do a huge bunch. I want you to do them well, so I don't want to overburden. 1, 5, 9, 11. So we're going to do 5 questions on page 28, 29, 1, 5, 9, 11, 13. Okay. Try to do it without, they give you the answer choices. Try to do it without using that information. Try to do it the way we did here. Set it up and then solve. Okay. Challenge you a little bit.